Today, Judge Aileen Cannon dismissed former President Trump's federal classified documents case, citing the, quote, unlawful appointment and funding of special counsel Jack Smith. She put out this opinion saying the superseding indictment is dismissed because special counsel Smith's appointment violates the Appointments Clause of the United States Constitution. That is a judicial capital O opinion. I would also describe it as just her opinion, because it doesn't fit with the way that Appointments Clause has been interpreted in a ton of incredibly similar and recent cases, which we will get to. The New York Times says that it flew in the face of previous court decisions reaching back to the Watergate era that upheld the legality of the ways in which independent prosecutors have been named. Those arguments that were used successfully in this case by Trump's legal team were raised unsuccessfully against other previous special counsels, including Robert Mueller and also David Weiss, who investigated Hunter Biden, like just in the last year. That's the argument that was used and failed against those. But in this case, it worked because it's Aileen Cannon. Never forget, she was put on the bench by Donald Trump. Michael Waldman, a constitutional lawyer and president of the Brennan Center for Justice, said that Judge Cannon, quote, handled this case like an eager member of Donald Trump's defense team. He cited her slow pace in making routine pretrial decisions and her patience for hearing, quote, somewhat outlandish legal arguments without ever resolving some of them. Monday's decision, however, he said, goes beyond what she's done before. And in terms of the timeline, remember, this particular attempt to get dismissed was filed back on February 22nd. She didn't even hold a hearing on it until June 21st, months later. And Trump's defense team has filed 9 other motions to dismiss for other reasons. Before Monday, she had only ruled on 4 of them. Now, though, that this has been dismissed, it can actually be appealed. That was certain to happen, and it has happened. It is being appealed to the 11th Circuit Court of Appeals. And theoretically from there, it could go to the Supreme Court, which obviously has some very interesting views on legal challenges to former presidents. But what do you make of it?
Yeah, I think that it was both very savvy and ridiculous at the same time. So let me explain. The ridiculous part is legally it's preposterous. There's no precedent for it. And she's almost certainly going to get overturned, although the Supreme Court, you never know. But hold, we'll get to that too. But I mean, is it legally justified? No, she just pulled it out of nowhere. And she's like, oh yeah? Yeah. I don't think the special counsel has that constitutional authority. Based on what? Okay, that's crazy. Nobody's ever ruled that way before. But why is this savvy? So number one, even if it's the most preposterous ruling in the world, it delays the trial so much that it'll never happen before the election. So it's already over. And it's a federal case. And now Trump is enormously likely to win. And by the way, she knows that now. Mm-hmm. And so since Trump is enormously likely to win, this case is enormously likely to disappear as long as he crosses the finish line of the election, right? So once you delay it for any reason, it's already gone. So it's savvy in that way. Second of all, the 11th Circuit's gonna reverse her. There's no question about that, because they're not gonna be like, oh yeah, there's no precedent for this. All of law works on precedent. We think a random minor judge in the system can overrule the Supreme Court and every other ruling on this issue ever before. There's no chance the 11th Circuit will do that. On the other hand, when it gets to the Supreme Court could say, okay, wait a minute now. We get to put even more authority in the hands of the president. So if the Attorney General was going to appoint a special counsel to investigate the president, under her made up theory, then the president could say, no, I don't want myself investigated. So there is no special counsel. And the Supreme Court might find that attractive. Yeah. Because they are for, so far what appears to be unlimited executive authority. Yeah. So it's like, and if you wanted to kick off that series of events, you would do this ruling and hoping that it gets to the Supreme Court and hoping that they're as radical as you are, which is not a false hope. It's possible. I think the Supreme Court could go either way on this case.
Thanks for watching. Our audience has helped build TYT into the media giant it is today. Together, we can accomplish anything. Support our work and join us at tyt.com/team.
Yeah, and we're talking about how the current Supreme Court would go. The Supreme Court, as it will likely look in a year or two, is 1 or 2 seats potentially even more insane in that direction. And this is just the latest, by the way, in a long line of like I would say, extrajudicial, extra constitutional ways that he's avoided accountability. Obviously, he fired Comey. He literally never participated in the Mueller probe. And now he could just literally make the probes disappear. And as president, he will formally be able to do that. He'll conjure up some claim that it's an official act, and that's done. There's no investigations whatsoever. And by the way, there wouldn't be anyway, because the DOJ is going to be entirely staffed, thanks to Project 2025, by absolute lackeys that would never investigate him if he murdered their family right in front of them. And also, lost in all of this is, obviously he stole the documents. No one disputes that, and it's irrelevant. It does not matter that he obviously stole dozens and dozens of the documents. We're never going to get any justice for that. And she might get something though, Aileen Cannon. Matt Gaetz is saying something that is equal parts brazen and also maybe true. He just tweeted, future Supreme Court Justice Cannon.
Yeah.
Why not? She's super young. She gave Trump what he wanted. Why not?
No, I'm so glad you mentioned that, John, because that's the third way that it's savvy. One, it delays the trial, as I said, so already huge win. Two, you never know, this radical Supreme Court might agree with her, and that would be another huge win. And the third is, in the old days, people cared about your judicial record and how many times you were overruled and all these mechanics of the system, because that showed whether you were a fair judge, a reasonable judge, etc. In the new world, nobody cares about any of that. They're looking for the judges that will be most subservient to both corporate interests and Trump's interests. So if that's your metric, do you know a better judge than Aileen Cannon for who will serve Trump? And by the way, anything that the Federalist Society tells you to serve more loyally. Like if the Federalist Society tells her, hey, listen, don't worry, you got a lot of great luxury vacations ahead of you. Now you're gonna rule in favor of corporations every time. That's exactly what she's gonna do. So she's basically raising her hand like Gorsuch and Kavanaugh did. So in case you don't know real quick, Gorsuch and Kavanaugh both ruled that companies can kill their employees and not be liable. So that was them raising their hand going, I'm a raging radical in favor of corporate power. And that's why they got picked. Not despite that, but because of that. This is her raising her hand going, I'm a raging radical for anything the extreme right wing wants, and I don't give a damn about the law or precedent. And that's not an unsavvy strategy to get on the Supreme Court when you aren't anywhere within planets of deserving it.
And she's young.
Yeah,
I can totally see them doing it. And when your judges and your justices are chosen based on predictable personal deference to the authoritarian leader, I would define that movement as anti-elite. Stupid, and they believe it. This is populist.
Yeah,
you just choose whoever gave the dictator whatever he wants.
Well, I mean, look, John. So yes, they're hugely fake populists. And John is 100% right. It's the most non-populist thing to do, to say we should all bow down to the leader. That's the exact opposite of populism. But on the other hand, at least they're pretending to be populist and they're savvy enough to do that. Whereas the Democrats are like, yeah, we're the establishment. Isn't the establishment great?
Yeah.
We're now, right now, the donors are meeting to decide whether they're gonna keep Biden or drop Biden. Aren't we in favor of democracy? Yay, well, brothers and sisters, that's why you're losing to guys like Trump, because at least they're bothering to lie about it.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.